Wow, this was a big month for me. My low buy went really good and then it went a little bad. So as usual, today I want to talk to you about where I spent my money this month. And to give a brief little summary of what I got up to this month, I started the month off recovering from wisdom tooth surgery and I ended the month launching my second YouTube channel. Alex went away for 5 nights during the month, which was a really last minute trip. And then I also went on an unexpected trip as well. And then I did spend one of the weekends in bed for the whole weekend with a head cold. So it was a bit of an unusual month for me. This is technically now my 3rd month of doing a low buy and tracking my spending. And I think today it will be really interesting to see how I spent this month in comparison to my other months and whether it's a similar amount or not. So let's talk about my temptations, where I spent my money this month, as well as my current money mindset that I'm focusing on. At the end of the video, I also want to clear up a little bit of confusion and something that I haven't really explained properly in any of my budget videos yet. So I think that's important so you kind of understand a bit more about my budget and my income. Okay, so let's get started with my temptations. So my temptations this month were surprisingly low. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. One is that I'm feeling so good about my first 2 months, having not bought any clothes, that I just kind of want to continue to ride that streak of no buying for clothes. The other thing is I had a really busy month of being sick, recovering from surgery, unexpected trips, parenting alone, launching my new YouTube channel. And so I feel like there just wasn't time to be tempted this month. Alongside all of that that's going on, I also have had a lot of really intense family issues going on with my own family. And while I am managing those issues and those things that are happening really well, they are super intense. And I did have one day where it was when Alex was overseas, and that morning I just felt awful. It was a day where Nate was at daycare and I took him to daycare. I was just kind of emotionally drained. Something had happened the night before that really, really upset me. And I just hadn't had a lot of time to really take a breath and be by myself and really calm my nervous system down. So I was feeling particularly anxious this morning, and all I felt that morning was like I wanted to shop. Like I just wanted to go shopping for clothes. And I know that it was so linked to those emotions that I was feeling. So what I decided to do was, after dropping my son off to daycare, I was like, I just can't go home and work and be alone right now. I'm just gonna go out and take myself out for a coffee. Thought, let's just have a little date with myself. So I went and had a little date with myself, had a coffee, it was lovely. And then I was just like, I knew there were some shops, clothing shops around. I was like, maybe I'll just pop into the shops. And then I was like, no, I caught myself. I was like, no, Emily, you're doing this low buy year and you've been on such a good streak for not buying clothes this year. Let's not go and make an emotional purchase. So one of my favorite secondhand clothing shops was just around the corner, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going there. I'm not going to do this. But I did have to pick up cat food. And what I ended up doing was buying a really small toy for Fanta for my cat. And that kind of gave me that feeling of buying something. And so I kind of did good, but I kind of also didn't do good because I still satisfied that urge to shop and buy something new. Feeling as though I was giving it to Fanta, my cat, was a really nice feeling as opposed to buying something for myself. And he really loves that toy. It's like a catnip mouse. It's amazing. He loves it. But yeah, that was kind of where I had my biggest temptation this month, and it was very emotionally charged. And I'm really glad I didn't end up going to make the clothing purchase, because that would have been a much bigger one than a little mouse cat toy. Considering how crazy stuff has been with my family life, I think I'm really proud of myself that I haven't done more than just a mouse cat toy. So I am really proud of that. Hello, Fanta. So like I said previously, I've done another no buy month for clothes specifically, and that's what my low buy year was made to tackle the most, was my clothing purchases. So I'm so proud of myself. Once again, that's 3 months in a row of buying no clothes. I am, however, starting to plan my winter wardrobe, and I know that my winter wardrobe isn't really in a good place as my summer and spring wardrobe was. So I assume I probably will make a clothing purchase next month, at least next month or maybe the month after. But I'm making those plans and have been, and it's going to be very intentional and not just like a running into the shops because I feel like it type purchase. So yeah, I'm excited to do a little bit of planning for my winter wardrobe. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a little bit of a money mindset thing that's been going on in my head. So I actually ended up paying for my surgery last month, not this month. I thought I was going to pay for it this month, but turns out I paid for it on the very last day of last month. And I filmed last month's video like 2 days early because of my surgery. So that money ended up getting spent last month, but I kind of estimated how much it was going to cost, but you never really know the true amount until you just get all the bills from all the peoples. And it ended up costing me $5,000, and I got a little bit back through private health insurance and Medicare. I got like $700 back. And when I spent that money, I'm not gonna lie guys, it was painful to do that. Like I felt rubbish paying that bill, and I was in a really angry, pissed off place after paying for my surgery, and then especially finding out how little I was getting back considering I pay $100 a fortnight for private health insurance. Like it just didn't sit well inside me. And previous to this, I've been really conscious of my wording around money, how I want to live with more abundance and less scarcity. I know I've been speaking to some of you guys in the comments about having a scarcity mindset around money, and this is something that I've learnt about way back years ago, and I've been trying to implement it this year particularly. So when I paid for this $5,000 bill and I felt really bad about it, this is clearly me sitting in a scarcity mindset. And this is really bad and really negative, and does not help with any money issues that you're having to be angry at the money that you are spending. So I think it was like a day or two after paying that bill. Oh yeah, I was listening to a podcast when I was recovering from surgery, just a few days after paying that bill, and they reminded me of abundance and scarcity mindset, and someone spoke about when they're paying their bills and how they are so grateful that they can pay their bills. And like, boom, I remembered, oh my gosh, why did I put that energy out into the world? So I immediately took it back. I closed my eyes. I did a little like manifestation meditation in my head. And I was like, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that I got to spend $5,000 on my wisdom tooth removal. I'm so grateful that I got to have that surgery, as opposed to I'm so pissed off that I had to spend that money. I'm so grateful that I got to spend that money. Do you see the difference there? Because the thing is, like, I've been suffering in pain for the past 2-3 years with constant wisdom teeth infections. The amount of money I've had to pay, dentist appointments, antibiotics I've gone on, all the pain I've been in, some days not even being able to speak because of my wisdom teeth problems. I went through that for years, and then I was finally able to pay for surgery to get them out, and I'm ungrateful. Like, what is that? I should be so thankful and so happy that I got to do that. I got to do that. Not everyone gets to do that. So that's where I'm at with the money mindset stuff. I'm really focusing on feeling abundant and feeling really grateful for when I get to spend my money, because when we focus on the negatives, we are then in lack, then we attract more of that into our lives. I've given myself a little money mantra. So for when I have to pay a bill or spend an amount of money, I go, oh, thank you. I'm so grateful. That's just a way of me feeling happy and proud to be able to spend my money. I'm sorry guys, I'm just filming on my phone real quick because I've just finished filming this video, and I looked down at my phone and I had a notification from the bank. This is not a joke. I promise you this is real life. I had a notification from the bank that I'd been paid $5,000 into my account. This is how the universe works. Okay, back to the video. Okay, so where I spent my money this month. So this month was very interesting because things happened that I hadn't planned for, and it was a very different month to usual. I thought I was going to spend a lot less because I was going to be recovering from surgery and not doing a lot, but then I ended up spending pretty much the same amount that I've spent other months as well, because I ended up going away. When I compare January, February to March, it's interesting for me to now see that I'm kind of spending the same amount every month. If you minus the $5,000 from February, my expenses are a really similar amount every month. That's really nice for me finally to kind of get an idea of what my monthly expenses are. And I can also kind of get an idea of like what my average income might be. As my income fluctuates so much because I'm a content creator, I can kind of get an idea of the average, but what these 3 months of tracking my income has shown me is that I'm clearly spending the exact same amount that I'm earning, if not spending a little bit more and having to borrow money. That's not where I want to be. That's what I need to sort out. And that's just like a income issue, which I'm going to talk about briefly at the end and explain my plan for that. But in terms of spending this month, groceries, I gave myself a $150 budget for the month and I spent $1.79. You're probably wondering how that is even possible. I'll explain that at the end. Eating out, I gave myself a budget of $50 and I ended up spending a $208. A lot of that was spent at airports and I did not plan to travel this month. So that's what ended up happening and that's where that money went. So that's totally fine. Gifts, I gave myself a budget of $0 and I ended up spending $114. That was a big spot. I don't know why I gave myself a $0. A lot of those gifts were, once again, like unexpected things that I did not plan for. So because they're unexpected, I want to make sure I give myself a budget for gifts in future. Even if I don't think there's a birthday coming up, I'm the type of person that goes like, oh, you're sick? I'll buy you a gift. Oh, I'm coming to see you and visit you? Oh, I'll buy you a gift. Like even if it's something little, like a chocolate or a face mask for a friend. So I want to just put a little budget for my gifts every month, even when there's not birthdays. Coffee, I gave myself a budget of $60. I ended up spending $34. Love that. Health and medical, I gave myself a budget of $360 and I ended up spending less, $277. Love that. That's a big difference to last month's health and medical bill. Entertainment, $0. I thought I was going to have no fun this month, but apparently I spent $162. I know where I spent that. That was when I went away, and once again, another unexpected thing to spend money on. This is a big difference and I'll explain this one, makeup and skincare and beauty. So I gave myself the budget of $80 and I spent $303. I will explain what happened here. I basically bought all of my skincare and all of my shampoo in bulk this month. So it's gonna last me, I don't even know how long it will last me. I actually gonna track how long this might last, but my skincare was on 44% off, which is absolutely wild. 44% off for skincare is just crazy pants, and I had to do it. And then my shampoo, if I bought 3, I got a 10% discount and I didn't have to pay for shipping. So I bought that in bulk too. I don't mind doing this. I don't mind buying in bulk for things that I know that I use and I'm going to buy again, especially when I have to pay like shipping fees or anything like that. If I can get a really big discount and buy it in bulk one month, perfect. So that's why my makeup, skincare, beauty was huge this month compared to what I actually budgeted. But that's totally fine. I'm fine with that. And it probably means for the next 6 months, my spending for makeup, skincare, and beauty will be very minimal. Miscellaneous, I gave myself $0. I shouldn't have given myself $0. I should give myself something for miscellaneous because I ended up spending $120. Let's just have a look at what that actually was. $120. Oh yeah, my earplugs. So I have those Loop earplugs. They're amazing. They got chewed up by a dog. Dog ate them. So I had to buy new earplugs. So with shipping and stuff, they were $45. And then I also had to pay, the other big one was I had to pay a fine. So I really pissed off. I got a $55 fine from the government for not voting in the last election. However, I had pneumonia. I got a doctor's certificate. I literally couldn't walk 2 meters. This was last year. And yeah, I just think that's really unfair and they didn't accept it. I've just got to let this one go and walk away. Psychology, I gave myself the budget of $460 and I ended up spending $460, bang on. Nate, I gave myself the budget of $50 and I ended up spending $171. What did I spend on Nate? Oh, that's right. I bought everything for his birthday party, which is coming up in 5 weeks, but I got really excited and I bought it early. So that's why his budget was over. These last 3 are expenses that I added this month. So LWE, business expenses, that's Living with Emily. Business expenses, that's my new YouTube channel. So I spent $51.93 kind of setting up some business stuff behind the scenes. And then I also added in post office because I go to the post office quite a bit because I sell a bit on Depop. So I just wanted it to have its own expenses and I ended up selling a lot on Depop this month, which was awesome. And so I had $114.30 for the post office, but obviously all of that I got back from people who paid postage. And then I also added on Uber. I don't usually use Uber, but when I went away this month and it was unexpected, I made the calculations of hiring a car versus taking an Uber, and it was going to be cheaper to take an Uber the whole time, and I spent $316 on Uber for that trip. In terms of savings, I managed to put away my usual amount. I also put away $300 into my emergency fund because that's empty now, so I'm just going to start rebuilding my emergency fund. So the last thing I want to talk about is explaining kind of a bit more about my budget. So I mentioned earlier that I spent like $1.70 on groceries this month, and I want to explain kind of like something that I haven't explained to you guys in any of these videos. And that is that Alex is the main income earner in our family, and this budget is just for me and my things. Alex pays for all our groceries, and majority of our bills, I put in a little bit for our bills. That's because I've been the primary caregiver for our son over the past few years. And in the past couple of years, I've been trying my hardest to build up my income again to what it was before I had my son. But to be honest, it's been really tough, and trying to juggle looking after him and building my income up at the same time, having a little bit of daycare to help with that, I just haven't been able to do it. I haven't been able to get my income back up to a full income and what it was before having my son. And that is one of the toughest things about being a content creator and being self-employed. So that's why my groceries budget is really small, because I actually don't pay for our groceries. In terms of my income, the idea is that it grows. We've kind of reassessed, made a new plan, and we're giving it another year to see what I can do about it. And then if it doesn't work from there, we're going to think about different options for me and my career. I really struggle to take on sponsorships on this channel because I'm really, really picky. Like, the last thing I want to do is take on all the sponsorships that I'm given. If I did, then I'd be like, every video would be sponsored, but I don't want to be encouraging you to shop, and especially not with the right brands. Like, I'm really picky about the brands that I choose for sponsorships. So that's been really hard, building back up the income without really doing many sponsorships or any at all. But obviously I have this new channel now as well, which I hope eventually I can monetize that as well. And then we have a couple of other things planned for me as well. So yeah, that is kind of why my budget is a little funny, because it's just me and my finances. I'm just trying to work out how to get myself sorted, how to be able to pay all my bills and be better with managing my money. And then once I figure that all out, then Alex and I want to talk about how we kind of like merge our finances a bit more and work out a better budget between us. But yeah, that's for future, and that's just something that we have to work out as a couple. This kind of stuff is complicated, and I think I have a lot more to learn. We don't want money to be an issue between us. We don't want to fight about it. So we're just trying to work it out together, and we know it will take a bit of time, but that is how it is for us right now. If anyone has any kind of advice in terms of like content creation and being self-employed, or in terms of like managing money together as a couple, Alex and I eventually want to have a budget together. Once I've kind of played around with the budget spreadsheet for maybe a year or something, we want to have one together. That's the idea. Also, if you are doing a low buy this year, I'd love to know like what your biggest temptations have been, like where you're struggling the most with your low buy. If you're struggling, or if you're doing a really good job, like comment below and let me know what your temptations have been. I think because I'm doing all of these low buy check-ins with you guys, it's keeping me really accountable. And for me, accountability is hugely linked to my success. I don't want to let you guys down. If I say that I'm going to do something, I really want to follow through with it. So I think that's that you guys have been my accountability partners. But if you guys are doing this and you're struggling, I highly recommend that you somehow find an accountability partner, someone who can keep you accountable for your low buy. So maybe they can check in with you, you can show them where you've been spending your money, and you can text them when you're feeling tempted, or even someone that's doing it as well. You could be each other's accountability partners. If you want to see all the other videos in this low buy budgeting series, I will link them up on the screen for you now. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.